Welcome back to Sledgehammer Horror, guys. I am Ken Sledge, and let's talk horror. Now, today I am joined by the beautiful duo of Brian Ceponis and Heather Lynn. How you guys doing tonight?
Great. Thanks, Ken.
Fantastic.
I just found out that Brian prefers to be called beautiful, so I wanted to let him know that his light shines brighter than any I've seen. So,
You handled that perfectly with it.
So before we actually get started on why you guys are here, I would like for the people that don't know you to get to know you a little bit. Heather owned a salon in Princeton for 10 years, taught herself or got taught on stage for Paul Mitchell. Now it's making a big jump going from owning a salon into working on stage and things like that. But you worked as a model, traveling model mostly the East Coast, but you are also scheduled to shoot internationally in Greece, which is totally, absolutely amazing. And you've been acting for a few years now. Obviously, the horror community is something very tight knit. Everybody kind of loves everybody. It's definitely more of a family oriented thing. We just like to cut each other's faces off. So, you will be playing the villain in Grind. So that's pretty amazing. And obviously, Mark can too. Love the guy. I've had him on the channel before as well. Very cool dude. So, what got you wanted to go from, doing the salon into, stage acting, screen acting?
So I actually was a model before I owned the salon.
Okay.
So I started with that. And then I always liked anything that had to do with fashion, beauty. My favorite thing is taking something gorgeous and kind of effing it up a little bit and making it a little distressed or weird or odd. And I've always been drawn to the horror, especially horror comedy genre. The people are just so cool. They're so supportive. They're fun. They don't take themselves so seriously. It's a lot of fun.
I agree with you. Getting into the horror genre, doing a podcast, and then going to do cons and meeting people. Very rarely do you meet anybody that you're just like, wow, that's a douchebag. Usually are pretty or people they're pretty accepting, they're pretty loving, and they just want everybody else to succeed. Good for the goose, good for the gander. So we're always rooting for each other to succeed and do well. And then obviously, the looks of the Operation Brian. Before becoming an actor, he had a couple different professions. He worked in financial service industry and then spent a decade pursuing the professional volleyball career in Norway, Switzerland, and Ireland. That's amazing. Like, genuinely. I know it had to be hard to give up, those years of financial services. I know that must have been just a fun time for you, but becoming a professional volleyball player, like that, you retired in 2004, I know, but I got to know, like, what was your drive to become a professional volleyball player?
It's kind of one of those things. I had these weird pie in the sky dreams coming out of college. Like, hey, I want to be a professional athlete and be a professional actor at some point. Well, it's like the athlete had to come first because I couldn't be a 40-year-old rookie trying to start an athlete career. So I had a real good career in college and had an opportunity to try for the U.S. national team at one point. And then I was like, you know what, I'm good enough to do this. So I said, there's no pro leagues in the U.S. You either go to Europe, you go to South America, you go to over Japan or places like that. So I'm like, you know what, let's give it a shot. So I pretty much did it all on my own. I didn't have an agent. It's a little bit different today. This was back in the early mid 90s. I didn't have an agent or anything. I just said, how do I do this? And I just said, all right, let's figure it out. And ended up getting a tryout over in Switzerland and went over there and made a good impression. So went from actually when I got back from my Swiss tryout is how I got the Norwegian thing, because they had heard about what I had done and there was a team in Norway. It's like, hey, I want to make you an offer sight unseen. I'm like, great, let's do it.
Yeah.
So did the Norway thing, did the Switzerland thing for a few years, and then spent a couple years in Dublin playing over there. So it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was so hard to give up an office financial job to do that and travel around the world. So
I know, like my heart breaks for you. See, if I played volleyball, I'd turn out like Scott Sterling. And if you guys don't know who Scott Sterling is, just YouTube Scott Sterling volleyball. That would be me as a volleyball player, 100%. So, obviously, like I said, much respect because volleyball is a very demanding sport, especially, team volleyball. It's you got to know when to zig, when to zag. You have all these other people that are depending on you. You have your zones, bumps that spike. I know all about it. I just suck at it. So it's really cool to see that you were able to succeed so much at that. That's really, really awesome. It's a sport that is, like you said, in the United States is kind of, put on the back burner. There's not a lot of professional volleyball here. but huge around the world. And it's amazing to see that you were able to go and live that dream out, and then coming home and living off the dream of becoming an actor, because you were a Hollywood actor for 11 years. And then you shifted to the East Coast. You went to the home of the Steelers, home of the Pirates out there in Pittsburgh. Ballpark looks beautiful at night, by the way. And you've worked on numerous films, television shows, stage productions, and you co-founded Red Slate Films and have taken on additional roles as producer, director, editor, and writer. So now you guys know a little bit about who these two amazing people are, and I'm so honored to have them here. But the reason we're here is to talk about the upcoming cosmic horror comedy Grind. Now, this is a movie that I'm very excited about. Like I said, I'm a big fan of August. She's a good friend. Mark Cantu is a great guy. I love the guy to death. And then let's start with you first this time, Brian. How did you get attached to the film?
This is actually my third go around with Mark. I had done 2 other films with Mark. I did Massacre Academy back and released in 2021, and then I did Wolf Hollow, which just came out last year and has just recently been released all over the place. So this time I actually get to, because I played the killer and the kind of like what Heather's going to be doing, the main bad guy in Massacre Academy, and then I played a werewolf, the head of the werewolves in Wolf Hollow. So now I get to play one of the kind of good guys in this film. So yeah, this is my third go around with Mark.
That's awesome. And like I said, Mark, love the guy to death. I'm very excited. I actually did some of the promotion for him for Wolf Hollow when that came out. That's how I met him. So I'm very excited to see what's next in the barrel. What about you, Heather? How did you get attached to the project?
So, like Brian, it's not my third film with Mark, but it's my second. And it's funny. So Mark and we were connected on social media, and I've always wanted to be killed in a horror movie. So I reached out to him. I was like, so I see you're a director for horror films. He's like, yeah, you want to be in one? I go, I definitely do. He's like, all right, well, you can come out one day and you can do like a little scene. He's like, but if you come out 2 days, you can get the blood and the guts. It's like, I want the blood and I want the guts.
Yeah.
Ryan actually killed me last movie.
I did.
He's like, I still apologize for it all the time.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to get too much into it, but maybe Brian will get his just desserts in this film. Only one way to find out. So, now, we talked a little bit about how you are a little bit of a villain in Grind. But Heather, can you tell me, obviously non-spoiler, I don't want to try to ruin anything, but a little bit deeper about your character in the film?
I don't want to give too much information. I'm just not sure how far I'm allowed to give, how much information I'm allowed to give. It's definitely going to be like a sci-fi, horror, emotional. Brian's character is going to be phenomenal, hysterical. That's the one that you definitely want to keep your eye on. Lots of blood, lots of guts, lots of stealing people's souls.
Yes.
For those that have them.
Yes.
And we know that you're kind of the face this time, Brian. You're kind of the good guy in this one. But can you tell me, again, I don't want you guys putting anything out there that's not supposed to be out there yet, but as little as you can give me, can you tell me a little bit about your character?
Well, all I can do is I got to show you my shirt, because that's my character, Wes Brantley. That's the man, the myth, the legend. He's kind of he's a larger than life actor. Thinks he's Steve McQueen, Charles Bronson. Probably not quite that at all, but he thinks he is, and just kind of ends up getting pulled into the situation during the course of the film, and ends up helping to save the day. So
I cannot wait. So you guys are obviously playing 2 polar opposite characters here.
yes.
Brian, is there anything special that you do to try to get into character so you can become this? You're no longer Brian. This is you now.
Well, I'm going to grow a beard, which I don't normally have, and I'm going to wear my aviators, so that'll help. But I mean, something. There you go. See, I'm not a beard guy, but definitely going to grow the beard out for this one. And somebody like Wes, he's so serious about who he is as an actor, and which is great, because it's an actor playing an actor who thinks he's a great actor, but he's really not a great actor. So it's just going to be fun just to kind of get into that role. So it's just, I'm going to not take myself too seriously, but play it in a way that is serious, if that makes any sense.
Completely understand, because like you said, like when you're trying to play an actor that's playing an actor that's a bad actor that thinks he's a good actor, you're putting on a clinic, man. Like, not only is the sentence hard, doing the job is harder.
Exactly.
I can't wait. You know, you're like doing that, Robert. I'm playing a guy that's playing a guy that like you're getting that role going
That
on, man.
knows a
So I'm
guy
super
that went
excited
that.
to see the direction that it goes, man. So what about you, Heather? Being a villain, obviously every interaction I've had with you has been nothing but professional and absolutely kind and sweet. So is there anything special that you're going to do to get into that character, that villainous type of character?
So Mark gave me two films to kind of study. The one was The Last Hellraiser, the female Pinhead, and the other one was Aaliyah, and I think what is it, Queen of the Damned?
Yep.
Right? He said study those two characters. So those are the two that I've been watching here and there and just kind of trying to channel that. It's a little sexy, it's a little stone cold, it's a little bit of everything, and I kind of like it.
I was just going to say, because when I think of Jamie Clayton's Pinhead and then Aaliyah and the Queen of the Damned, what I think is sexy, scary, uh what mysterious, you know, like those are the things that, you know, we have such sights to show you. And you know, Aaliyah obviously ahead of her time with how beautiful she was and how intelligent and, you know, musician, actress, you know, did a lot. You know, rest in peace Aaliyah. She was taken way too soon, but I'm very excited to see how you're able to tap into these characters. That to me, getting into the brain of you guys, getting ready to get into the brain of your characters, you know, now I'm playing the guy that's playing the guy. You know, I like to get into your guys' brains and kind of pick apart what you do to get into character. So with a film like this, obviously you're going to have kind of a weird, different type of filming schedule. Do you guys have your filming schedules yet? Do you kind of have an idea of when you're going to be doing your filming?
Not specifically. I know it just in generally, like, because we have to film the films within the film that are being shown during the Grindhouse Film Festival. So that's going to happen maybe April-ish, May-ish, and then the main filming for the film itself is going to take place probably early August type of deal. But we don't have anything specific. It's kind of generalities.
Okay. And what about you, Heather? We're talking about, you know, the filming schedules, how tough that can be. Can you give me like any type of non-spoiler synopsis on what people can actually expect with the film? We know that it's a cosmic horror comedy, but can you kind of give me an idea of like the main story without giving anything away?
Well, I think my job is ultimately to make people feel like they want to hand their souls over to me in whichever way, shape, or form. And like Brian said, there's a couple different movies within a movie.
Gosh, like this is so exciting. Like I'm really, really excited to see that the direction this is going to go because when you're doing so many different things at once, yes, it can be very hard. Yes, scheduling can be hard. Sleep schedules included can be very hard. But when you get that final product and you're able to go back and see, you know, this is what we were doing here. This is what we we're doing here. Now we can see it all together in one big, in your mind, a time capsule. For us, it's a film, but for you guys, you remember every single scene you shot, every single moment you were on set. And it's amazing to see the excitement that you guys have going into this project. And we know, like I said, the filming hasn't started yet, but I've heard the ETA for the film is late this year or early next year. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's more early next year type of
Okay.
yeah.
See, because I knew that we were having that release ETA coming up soon. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. This sounds amazing. You want to see these guys get into character. You want to see the seductive sexiness of Brian. But in order to do that, you know, a way that you can help out in doing this is by helping the Indiegogo. Now, I do have that Indiegogo link down in the description. And a lot of times people look at an Indiegogo and they think different things. But when you're going in and you're helping an Indiegogo, not only are you getting awesome perks back in return, like Heather, if you could show the sweatshirt. See, you have the ability to get these amazing perks back that obviously you can have forever, but more so than that, and also Brian's shirt,
This is
you know, you
also
can rock that. And when people ask you what's up with your shirt, you could say this is a guy that plays a guy that's an actor that's a bad actor. So you guys can give the whole spew.
that is going to be Wes Brantley's tagline. Oh my god.
Yes. But the biggest thing about this is you're helping somebody to create art. Now, if you have the means and you're able to do so, I can't recommend enough helping out this Indiegogo project. That's the reason that we're here. Like I said, sweatshirts. Do you guys know some of the perks that are available with the Indiegogo? Can you tell us some of them?
There's lunch boxes. You can be an apocalypse survivor. You could be, what is it, a movie theater, someone that's watching in the movie theater. There's so many different, it's really just worth going on there, checking it out, seeing what fits your vibe. And if you can, support.
Yeah, posters, DVDs, Blu-rays. You can actually be a cosplay, and we have a bus scene at the end. You can be a cosplay person on the bus scene. So yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff.
And like I said, the best way to do that is by checking out the link down in the description. And like I said, the main thing is, yes, you are getting awesome perks. And that's really cool. Like that really is. That's something you can have for history. I have a lot of them here around my house from all the Indiegogos I've helped. Love to do it. I think it's a great thing. But the number one thing is you're helping art get created. Anybody that makes a movie, they know the struggle of what goes on behind the scenes of actually making this thing happen. And you guys being able to step up and help out to create this art is super special. Now, I know what you're thinking. That's a long ways away, Ken. How can we stay up to date on what's going on with this film? Well, I've got you covered there too, because I have their social media links down in the description. So you follow them on social media, you become a part of their social media family, and I promise they're going to be giving you updates. Sledgehammer Horror is going to give you updates on this stuff as well. So I know that you guys are short on time because obviously you're very busy doing all this, but I do want to thank you so much for coming out and hanging out with me and talking about this movie. So before I let you guys go, because like I said, we are at the end of the third act, the credits are about to roll and the curtain's about to drop. If you could give someone 30 seconds and tell them why they should come out and help the campaign. I'll start with you first this time, Heather. Why should people come out and help the Grind campaign?
I think what was so amazing about Mark's last movie was from the beginning to end, there was so many different emotions that he tapped in on, especially the comedy with multiple characters. And it is so worth strapping in and going on that ride. And I think he just keeps getting better and better. It's like creating a little human being, like a person. It's so creative. It's so amazing. I like to just sit back and I'm amazed by what he comes up with. And it's really wonderful to be a part of that ride.
Yeah. What about you, Brian? Why do you think people should donate to the GoFundMe to help Grind become a reality?
Well, you're gonna help bring to life and be associated with a film that is gonna be so much fun. That is gonna have there's a track record with Mark and what he does in terms from Massacre Academy to Buffalo, and this is just gonna blow the doors off of anything we've done before. And to be associated with that and have your name tied to that and whatever little means you can is gonna be so worth your while once you see that film on screen and be like, oh my God, this is the most amazingly fun ride that I could ever have imagined.
And I'm telling you, I can't wait to see it as well. I'm right there with you guys. So, Brian, Heather, please don't go anywhere. I do have a couple more questions for you. Everybody else, like I said, not only is the Indiegogo link and their social media links down in the description, make sure you are following them. Very important. And if you have the means to help the Indiegogo, like I said, very important. We've learned throughout the pandemic that horror films are king. They keep being made because people have unique ideas and original ideas, and it's hard to do that without the help of our community. So if you have the means to do that, please do so. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It helps to build the channel more than you know. And follow Sledgehammer Horror on social media. Our links are in the description as well. But until next time, keep talking horror, stay what you are, and we'll see you guys soon.